I'm here in Portugal. It's 6:30 in the morning, so it's just getting light. And Portugal is a place where there's really the ugly things are right next. See, look at this. It's probably a house has not been painted for 100 years. And over there, same thing. And then next to it is very, very nice and beautiful houses like this one. Look at this, it's the school for diabetes. And in front, an old garbage bin. So it's not what you see in America, where most things are very proper, except of course now the garbage outside the street is the same, and in many places, the poorer places, it's becoming very ugly as well. But America keeps things separate. So there's the poor neighborhoods, there's the rich neighborhoods, and that's not the case here. And I wanted to speak a little bit about this aspect that the dark forces are now part of the auto communication in Core 6. And as you saw, I got already some people that completely disagree with it, that say they cannot even use Core 6 if it stays there. And just for the beginning, you can unselect it. You can make it disappear by going to File menu, and then go to options, and then go to communication screen, and then unselect all the groups you don't want to see. But for those who are a little bit more open, and I want to explain what's the purpose of these groups. So you can see often young people, they're dressed in black, and they put needles in their ears and everywhere. They tattoo themselves with really terrible images of devils, of skeletons, of bones, of devils. And so why are they doing this? Of course, one part is just creating the DLE, creating a starting point to set themselves different from their parents. But why do they think doing those things, being dressed in black or having nail bracelets and pins through their nose and ears that look ugly and be dressed as a little devil? Why do they think this is giving them some DLE, some opposition to the parents? Usually because most parents live a life that is completely proper, clean and white, where they look only for what is nice, comfortable and proper. And so those children have a starvation problem with not being able to see the dark side of life, because in their neighborhood everybody is well educated, everybody has sufficient money, and life is not about this. It's both sides, and so if we try to avoid this, and many people play this game, if we try not to see it, if we try to exclude it from our experience, then disease has to happen. So that's one point, that we use the informational tool of Core to get it into our informational matrix, to get it back connected, because it is there anyway, but to reconnect it. And the other point which is just as important. Is the fact that we have to understand that the dark, the difficult, the unknown, the challenge, as we often say, it's a challenge, it's not negative. So we could have called it challenging forces, but I was more challenging by calling it dark forces, because challenging, again, when we say he has a challenge, when we, instead of saying he has a disease or he has a psychological problem, we say he has a challenge. It's just to cover it up, that we don't see what it is. It's a dark side, it's a dark force, it's shadow in his life. And so, you see, here I'm going through kind of the poor neighborhood of Portugal. And it fits, but I tell you, Portugal has the other sides just as well. But they are very healthy because it's not so much separated. So when we understand that activity that we always create in our life always needs some opposition, that we cannot create activity even without opposition. You can see this in space. When you want to move in space, you have to throw something away from you. So there has to be the reactive force. That's the basic law of Newton, of energy, of physics. Action is equal to reaction. So if we don't want to see the reaction forces, the forces of opposition, if we want to exclude them and hope that there will be eventually a time where there is no opposition anymore, where there is no enemy anymore, where we can get out all the terrorists, all the insurgents, all the drunk people, all the robbers, then we get into trouble, because we have to fight harder and harder. We have to see less and less what is actual fact. And so everybody has a different area, a different gray or a different dark area where they cannot see the opposition, where they say it's not there, where they don't want to see it. And for some people it's the area of competitiveness, for some it's the area of jealousy, for some other area is the area of sex. And so these forces are being selected by core for the individual, just like the remedies, because these oppositions, these being aware and integrating them into the matrix of the client can be just as much a remedy as light, as homeopathy, as good wishes, as all these positive angel forces. So that's the reason why in Core 6 this is being part of the auto-communication form. And so again, if you don't want it, just unselect it. But if you see that the client is open to it, then be open to it and use it. So that's about dark forces, and hope this makes sense to you.